Sudanese strikes defy military. There has been a significant increase of violence against the demonstrators in Sudan after last month's military takeover by Sudan's military authorities. Protests and other forms of civil disobedience might yet bring down the government. Activists occupied large swaths of major cities on Sunday. They erected barriers and resisted the police efforts to enter. When the army showed up and started hitting people, it was often young activists who bravely refused to back down. Schools, pharmacies, colleges, and other industries were also rocked by a fresh round of strikes. The military and police retaliated. Last Sunday, a teachers' union said that security agents had deployed tear gas on the Khartoum State Education Ministry headquarters. This was done to disperse a sit-in protesting the transfer of power to military officials. 119 individuals, including 54 instructors, were detained. In Khartoum's Buri neighborhood and Omdurman's Ombada neighborhood, police deployed tear gas to disperse protesters. However, the streets were still filled with people, with women taking the lead. Medoni, Nyala, and Atbara also saw demonstrations. Omar al-Bashir loyalists were reappointed to local government positions, prompting a large protest. Bashir was ousted in 2019 by demonstrations and strikes. It has been widely condemned by factions opposed to central government authority in the area. Similarly, the Sudanese Revolutionary Front has slammed the army. It contains high-ranking Darfur and South Kordofanian officials. In certain locations, local resistance groups, formed to provide food, medical care, and other services, are still in place. No negotiation, no cooperation, no compromise is now the rallying cry of a fresh wave of protests planned for this Saturday. The resolve of the protesters is unquestionable. It's also possible that there are substantial doubts about how well people are resisting the military. There was a smaller-scale mobilization last weekend compared to the previous week. Rather than 1 million people taking to the streets, there was a halt to the outpouring of rage. Security personnel remove barriers erected by protesters. Workers return after 1 or 2 days of strike action. All of this adds to the mounting demand for a negotiated settlement. Strikes are the only certain means to eliminate the military. It is possible to shatter the military's grip on power by combining large protests with the building and expanding of neighborhood resistance groups. There is a serious threat to Sudan's military, and they know it. As a result, they are trying to strike an agreement that would seem to offer the impression of civilian rule, but in reality, the military is still in charge. Coup leader General Abdel Fattah Burhan has been pushed to meet with a variety of regional and global powers to beg for Africa. They worry that this might lead to other uprisings. Burhan received visits from Egyptian intelligence head Abbas Kamel and U.S. Special Representative for the Horn of Africa Jeffrey Feltman. Senior delegates from the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Russia, and UN were also in attendance. If Burhan supports a deal, it's going to be poisoned. It will serve as a cover for the military's ongoing control of vital economic sectors. As a result, the army's participation in the 2003 mass executions in Darfur and the June 2019 massacre of protesters in Khartoum will remain unaccountable. The United States and its allies call for the overthrow of the government to be overturned. As long as the Sudanese people can be smuggled out of the way, they'll happily accept a compromise. The IMF's neoliberal policies will also be a part of any bargain struck by Western imperialists. A major group that has been fighting the military coup in Sudan made a clear announcement last week that it will not sign deals with the military. However, a transaction of this kind can only be thwarted if there are obvious alternatives. When it comes to the military, there is no room for concessions, and they should be put behind bars. Instead of a transitory administration, strikers must construct one based on neighborhood groups and networks.